Vocalists are capable of producing a variety of extended technique sounds. These alternative singing techniques have been used extensively in the 20th century, especially in art, song and opera. Particularly famous examples of extended vocal technique can be found in the music of Luciano Berio, John Cage, George Crumb, Peter Maxwell Davies, Hans Werner Henze, György Ligeti, Demetrio Stratos, Meredith Monk, Giacinto Scelsi, Arnold Schoenberg, Salvatore Sciarrino, Karlheinz Stockhausen, Avi Kaplan, and Trevor Wishart. Typical techniques. Spoken text is frequently employed. The term parlando is a similar direction which is somewhat out of date. Sprechgesang is a combination singing and speaking. It is usually heavily associated with Arnold Schoenberg, particularly his Piero Lunaire, which uses Sprechgesang for its entire duration, and the Second Viennese School. Schoenberg notated Sprechgesang by placing a small cross through the stem of a note which indicates approximate pitch. In more modern music, Sprechgesang is frequently simply written over a passage of music. Falsetto, a vocal technique allowing the singer to sing notes higher than their modal vocal range. Vocal tremolo. A vocal tremolo is performed by rapidly pulsing the air expelled from the singer's lungs while singing a pitch. These pulses usually occur from 4 to 8 times per second. Vocal trill. A vocal trill is performed by adding singing vibrato while performing a vocal tremolo. Inhaling. Vocal sounds or even words can be produced while a singer is inhaling. This can create a strained or even humorous effect. Overtones. By manipulating the vocal cavity, overtones may be produced. Although traditionally used in the traditional music of Mongolia, Tuva, and Tibet, overtones have also been used in the contemporary compositions of Karlheinz Stockhausen, Stimmung, as well as in the work of David Hikes. Undertones. By carefully controlling the configurations of the vocal cords, a singer may obtain undertones or subtones, which may produce period doubling, tripling or a higher degree of multiplication. This may give rise to tones that fairly coincide with those of an inverse harmonic series. Although the octave below is the most frequently used undertone, a twelfth below and other lower undertones are also possible. This technique has been used most notably by Joan LaBarbera. 1. However, undertones may be generated by processes that include more than the vocal folds. For instance, the ventricular folds, also called the false vocal folds, may be recruited, probably by solely aerodynamic forces, and made to vibrate with the vocal folds, generating undertones, like those found, for instance, in Tibetan low-pitched chant. Multiphonics. By overstressing or biosymmetrically contracting the laryngeal muscles, a multiphonic accord may be produced. This technique features in the 1968 composition Versuche über Schweine by the German composer Hans Werner Henze. In voice pathology, there are various descriptions of somewhat similar effects, such as those found in patients with diplophonia, a condition that produces a double voice, i.e., 2 or even more simultaneous pitches. Yodeling. Yodeling is performed by rapidly alternating between a singer's chest and head voice. Ululation. A long, wavering, high-pitched vocal sound resembling a howl with a trilling quality. It is produced by emitting a high-pitched loud voice accompanied with a rapid back and forth movement of the tongue and the uvula. Ululation is practiced in certain styles of singing, as well as in communal ritual events, used to express strong emotion. Crooning. Singing with a soft emotional timbre. Glottal sounds. A frying type sound may be produced by means of the glottis. This technique has been frequently used by Meredith Monk. Screaming. Growling. Buccal speech. a form of allaryngeal speech that has a high pitch that can be used for speaking and singing. It is most familiar as the voice of Donald Duck. Mouth trumpet, singing through the lips with the proper amount of tension to allow the voice to sound like a trumpet. Non-vocal sounds. Besides producing sounds with the mouth, singers can be required to clap or snap their fingers. This is usually notated by writing the appropriate word over a note. These gestures are sometimes written on a separate one-line staff as well. Artificial timbral changes. Inhalation of gases. Inhaled helium is occasionally used to drastically change the timbre of the voice. When inhaled, helium changes the resonant properties of the human vocal tract, resulting in a very high squeaky voice. In Salvatore Martirano's composition Elsgar, the singer is required to inhale from a helium mask. Conversely, an unnaturally low voice may be achieved by asking the singer to inhale sulfur hexafluoride. This technique is less popular than helium inhalation, in part because of the inherent risk of the gas displacing oxygen in the lungs. Artificial vocal enhancement. Amplification, possibly with electronic distortion of the voice, is frequently used in contemporary composition. Through the use of various electronic distortion techniques, vocal enhancement possibilities are nearly unlimited. A good example of this technique can be found in much of the music written and performed by Laurie Anderson. Another interesting example of artificial vocal enhancement is found in Robert Newell's Spirals, in which the composer asks singers to use megaphones, singing into the piano. There are a number of pieces which require a singer to lean over a, sometimes amplified, piano and sing directly into the strings. If the strings are not dampened, the effect is to start audible sympathetic vibrations in the piano. By far the most famous piece to use this technique is Ancient Voices of Children by George Crumb. Notable performers using extended vocal techniques: Laurie Anderson, Kathy Berberian, Eva Bitova, Thomas Buckner, Jill Burton, Jan de Gattani, Paul Dutton, Diamanda Galas, Roy Hart, Nicholas Ishwood, Fatima Miranda, Imogen Heap, Shelley Hirsch, David Hikes, Sophia Jernberg, Joan LaBarbera, Phil Minton, Meredith Monk, David Moss, Seinko Namchilik, Yoko Ono, Carol Plantamura, Alice Shields, Demetrio Stratos, Michael Vetter, Jennifer Walsh, Trevor Wishart, Alfred Wolfson, Savannah Yanato, Pamela Zed, Varam Sargsyan, Ralph Peters, Blatter, Alfred, 1980. Instrumentation, Orchestration. New York, Schirmer Books. Reed, Gardner, 1969. Music Notation. Second ed. Boston, Crescendo Publishing Co., Edgerton. Michael Edward, 2005. The 21st Century Voice. Contemporary and Traditional Extra Normal Voice. Lanham, Scarecrow Press. ISBN 978-0-8108-5354-6. Fuchs, Leonardo, Hammarberg, Britta, Sundberg, John. 1998. A Self-Sustained Vocal Ventricular Phonation Mode. Acoustical, Aerodynamic and Glottographic Evidences. KTHTMHQPSR3 1998. 49-59. Stockholm. Listening. Vox Humana. Alfred Wolfson's Experiments in Extension of Human Vocal Range. Folkways Records. 1956. Lexicon of Extended Vocal Techniques.